Confidence isn't a talent, it's a trainable skill. And Priyanka Chopra is the perfect example of that. So, in this video, we'll break down how she transformed her communication from nervous and uncertain to bold, global, and unstoppable. But before we dive in, if you truly want to master the art of speaking fluently and confidently, like Priyanka or any of your favorite celebrities, then join my spoken English program. It is designed to help you speak naturally, expressively, and fearlessly, both in conversation and interviews. The link is in the description. Now, let's get started. Part 1. What makes Priyanka Chopra so articulate? When you watch Priyanka Chopra speak in interviews, panels, or award shows, you will notice one thing immediately. She doesn't rush her thoughts. She responds with clarity, structure, and calm confidence. And what's more fascinating is when she makes a point, she doesn't just throw it into the air and move on. She supports her points with stories, short, memorable anecdotes that make her message unforgettable. So let's take an example. In one interview, Priyanka talks about how her parents always valued her opinion, even as a child. She says, "My father would ask my opinion seriously, not in a flippant way. And that made me feel important."
From I was 4 years old, my father encouraged opinions where I used to sit with, my parents' friends. And my dad comes from middle class background. So does my mom, Ambala, conservative background. But he always asked for my opinion and not in a flippant way. Ki, "Acha, let's see what a 4-year-old has to say," but in a serious way. And that always made me feel like I'm important.
That simple act made her feel included. It wasn't about age, gender, or hierarchy. It was about being valued. Now, think about it. She could have just said inclusion matters, but that would sound like a generic quote. Instead, her story made that message memorable. That's the first big lesson. So, don't just tell your points, tell a story that proves it. Stories makes your words stick in the people's mind long after the conversation ends. Part 2. How to structure your response like a pro. Now, being articulate isn't just about stories. It's also about how you organize your thoughts before you speak. That's where a simple but powerful framework comes in. The PREP method. PREP stands for point, reason, example, and point again. It is one of the easiest ways to sound structured, confident, and clear, especially in interviews or meetings. Watch how Priyanka uses it naturally.
What advice do you give them when they're advocating for themselves to get the good stuff in life?
That's so hard because women in general, we're made to feel like we shouldn't ask for things because, we're so lucky. You already have this, you're so lucky you have that. Asking for things makes you selfish, or desiring or coveting something, or being ambitious is like, oh my gosh, you're so ambitious. Like, for women, somehow for a long time it was seen as not positive. And I think advocating for yourself is very important, but coming from a level-headed place is also important. If you're advocating for yourself, know what you're advocating about. Women have to prove ourselves twice as hard for most jobs. So if you're advocating for yourself, do your homework. Make sure you research enough to know what you're talking about. So whoever you're advocating to does not have anything that they can say except yes. Yes, you have to get that because, so that's the way we can help ourselves. Of course, there are some times you don't have the luxury of being able to, do research and come with, a coherent solution forward. And you have to just advocate for yourself and you have to scream really hard. And that's okay too. I think it's okay as long as you're advocating for yourself, because that's extremely crucial for young girls to do. My parents taught me how to do that when I was 2 years old. Ask for what you want. You may or may not get it, but ask. Open your mouth and ask.
When asked how women should advocate for themselves, she begins with her point. Advocating for yourself is very important. Then she adds a reason. Because women are often told that asking for more makes them selfish or ambitious, which is seen negatively. Next, she gives a real example. We need to do our homework, know what we are asking for, and speak with clarity. That's how people take you seriously. And finally, she repeats her point. So, yes, advocating for yourself is not arrogance, it's self respect. That's prep in action. And the best part is, you can use it in any response, whether it's an interview, a meeting, or even a casual conversation. It helps you slow down, organize your thoughts, and speak with purpose, just like a pro. Part 3, Using language powerfully. Linguistic tools. Now let's talk about something advanced. How to sound more intellectually expressive. Priyanka does this beautifully through linguistic tools. Rhetorical devices like metaphors, personifications, and contrasts. For example, when she talks about grief,
After my dad passed, I came to a slow but steady conclusion that that kind of pain will never go away. It's your companion. So when you're thinking about when people say like, I'm waiting for the day it stops hurting less. I'm waiting for the day it doesn't affect me anymore. I need it to be over. I need to get over it. You're never getting over it. It becomes a companion. There are days it'll come out in a biggish kind of way and want to stay for dinner or maybe a week. And there are some days you don't even remember it till you see a photo and you're just like. So any form of grief will have a duration in which it'll be your companion.
Yeah.
And you've got to let it.
she says, grief doesn't go away, it becomes your companion. Sometimes it stays for a day, sometimes for a week. Notice how she personifies grief, turning it into a living being. That's poetic, yet powerful. It makes you feel her words. In another interview, she compares toxic people to bad smell.
What would you like to change about this whole journey till this point? Is there anything you'd like to do differently?
I used to have a lot of anxiety around losing my job, losing my position.
Losing time. That's
No, never time.
Because that's a very common thing now with
What do you
teenagers, with college. Everyone's afraid that they're getting too old when they're 18.
I mean, I'm not afraid at 40 of getting too old yet.
I feel aging feels really nice. Like it makes you feel
It's
very
normal.
chill.
Why are we putting so much equity on aging? You're gonna get older. What is my best opportunity at 18, at 25, at 35, at 60? Who is it that you want to be?
It's also the people around, other people telling them that they're getting too old.
So then don't
Especially-
keep those people around you. Break up with them. Bye. Peace out. But I don't sit in the shit. You can sit in the shit and then you'll start smelling of it. And then you don't even know you're smelling of it because you got so used to it. There are many people that will want to pull you down. Focus on the light, little sliver of light that you might see. Do you have that inside of you? Or are you going to wait for somebody else to do it?
She says, if you sit in the garbage too long, you start smelling of it. That's a metaphor. Short, impactful, and instantly understandable. These tools make your speech memorable and artistic. When you use them, people don't just hear your message, they experience it.